What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick,
I'm Jeff Grindstoffer.
and welcome to episode number 33 of Vinyl Bang, where today we are going to talk about splatter vinyl.
Splatter. Yeah, we haven't really talked a whole lot about splatter vinyl in our collection.
It's a fun topic. I think there's tons of different splatter vinyl out there, and I think this is a good chance to show off some of the rare and unique ones that we have. I know I got one that's pretty unique in my collection that I'm excited to show in this episode, but
Mhm.
yeah, I know. I was looking down your list and I was like, hmm. So
Mm.
it's going to be cool to see what you got as well.
Yeah, and a thing about at least my end of it, like these aren't my absolute favorites, but there's some good fucking splatters.
Yeah,
Some absolute good wax we're going to look at
good wax
today.
for sure. Well, Jeff, go ahead and start this one off.
All right. I am going to start off this episode this week with an album, the newest album from Die Choking. This album is called Four. I believe that is in reference to the fourth album that Die Choking has released. This was self-released on top of another topic that Nick and I were just doing research on. This is a self-titled or self-released album from the band Die Choking. The cool thing about this is like the jacket that it comes in is like it's also yellow. Like it's not a clear jacket. Like the yellow matches the aesthetic of the album itself and the artwork and everything for it. Just it blends well together. Goes very well together. It's very calming until you listen to the record, which is absolutely not calming at all. Very chaotic and grind and very fun. This is again one of my favorite splatters. This is the yellow and I believe pink or purple and brown splatter. I believe is the official title for this. There was 100 of these. Again, self-released by Die Choking. Phenomenal album, great band, great guys.
Really great
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. We filmed them a couple years back in Philadelphia.
We
It was
did.
a collaborative thing between Nick and I where we filmed Die
Yeah.
Choking. Always a
Shout out,
pleasure to see those guys.
shout out to Dan. Shout out to Paul. I do not remember the guitarist's name.
I'm drawing a blank.
You have the record
Complete
in front
blank. Yeah, they'll never be on the show.
you have the record right in front of you. What is his name?
They're. I guess I could do that, huh?
Maybe it might be Dan. No, Dan. I just said that.
Paul vocals and bass, Josh Cohen drums,
Josh.
Jeff Daniels guitar. Yeah. Josh is the one that actually hooked me up with the record because
My
I filmed him
apologies.
for Sick Drummer, and Josh is dude. Every time I see Josh, like he's always hooking me up with shit. Like
Yeah, my apologies, Josh. He's the one I meant to. Josh and Paul are the two that I was trying to shout out. Josh is awesome. He's hooked me up with a record too. Extremely nice human being. I met him years ago at the Auto Bar with Artificial Brain and Mother Brain. First time I saw Mother Brain was Die Choking was there, and just great fucking band, great people, awesome grind band, really underrated grind band in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah, they don't do enough. They don't do that enough. But this is the artwork
Oh,
that's inside of the
hell yeah,
album. Pretty cool little art piece.
yeah, very grindcore.
Very cool. Very cool artwork.
From the great city of Philadelphia, Die Choking.
Yes.
Yeah,
Great band.
for sure, for sure. Happy we mentioned them on our show because they deserve that shout out. They're awesome people, like we've been saying for forever here.
Absolutely.
All right. This one that the first one I'm going to talk about is one that this is probably going to be the third time I've talked about this album on the show. And much like Jeff, when it comes to Mike Patton or Cattle Decapitation, I don't care. I love this fucking band. I love this album, but I love this pressing most importantly. Artificial Brain, Labyrinth Constellation is the name of this record. Yeah, this is like Brooklyn death metal at its best, man. Like this is just one of the coolest bands. This artwork is cool as shit. It's kind of fucking glossy. But I've talked about this album quite a handful of times. I love this Splatter. This was saved by the band and sent to me personally in the mail. I was very stoked to get this one because I missed out on it by the time they started. I think pre-orders went up. I missed, and I think they just had standard black. But Dan and possibly Sam hooked me up with this. So shout out to those two dudes. Shout out to Handsome Dan. I love Dan. Ex Revocation. Excuse me. He's got something new coming out here in a bit, and I forgot what it's called. My apologies, Dan. I did just pre-order it though, and I can't remember what it's called though. Artificial Brain, awesome fucking band. They are from Brooklyn. I think a couple of them live down in Richmond right now, but this is a great album. And like I said, I think this might be the third time I've shown off this record on the show, but I don't care. I love the way that Splatter looks, and like I said, great band, good friends. You know, was introduced to them by some people a couple years ago. James, our buddy James Lenzig Jr. He's great friends with these guys as well. So like, I think we've got a funny picture of all of us squished into the back of a car at Maryland Death Fest one year, going to the Paper Moon Cafe.
Oh, or the Paper Moon Cafe where they got the cereal milkshakes.
Yes, the Captain Crunch milkshake. Yeah,
is that what you get?
That's what I get. Yeah, they also have like a bacon milkshake. I tried that once. It was very like heavy in maple syrup. Yeah, it was rough. It was good, but I prefer the Captain Crunch milkshake. I think that one was the way to go.
I think it was the first. I don't remember what year it was that Melanie and I met you at that place, and I remember you getting the Captain Crunch milkshake, and like I was intrigued to try something. I don't even remember what I had. Well, I don't remember what I had, but I remember what you had.
Yeah,
that's obsessive, Nick. That's like weird. We should talk about something else.
I've gone there with quite a few people over there. One time I went with Blake, and he had told us that he was banned from that place for a while.
Probably for being a rascal.
He was, yeah. Obviously, he came in. They used to be open 24 hours. He came in there drunk one night, and I guess But I'm not. They don't. I've never been in there like after 2 years and seen the same people working there. So it's probably easy to forget him.
Well, it's not easy to forget him. But
no, but I'm saying
for new employees, yeah.
Yeah, when you work in a diner, you wouldn't know who this guy is, but
sure.
All right, moving on.
All right, moving on. Speaking of Blake Harrison, I'll go ahead and feature the next album that I'm going to talk about. It is Pig Destroyer. I'm going to try to get a bingo card or a scratch off, collect 10 scratches for a free guest pass or something for a Pig Destroyer show, like I've done with Cattle Decapitation and Cattle Decapitation. I think I've mentioned every album from them. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Octagonal Stairway. This is a six song EP, 3 actual songs and 2 like almost like a skit. I think that might have been Blake that did the News Channel 6, and then they did a couple of tracks with Igor Cavalera. They did Head Cage and Soundwalker, like a couple of collaborative tracks with Igor Cavalera. But anyway, this particular pressing or this particular pressing of this EP, of which I have all of them, including the clear. Don't ask how I got that. This Splatter, dude, this is so sick.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, that looks cool.
It is. It's just It reminds me a lot of the new pressings they did for Painter of Dead Girls. Like it's almost like the same kind of the clear black
kind of, yeah,
smoke, but with the purple, instead of having the what was the one that you got? It has like glitter or something, like purple glitter.
Yep, it's one with glitter, and then there's one like a marble, and then shout out James Watson. He scored the clear vinyl pressing. He posted a picture of it in that little chat with us.
Oh, I know he did. I know. Don't encourage him, dude.
Yes.
Until I get the clear.
James, I am rubbing it in Jeff's face for you, brother. He's jealous. That's what that is.
This is all getting edited out, James. I am master controller of the editing process. But yeah, dude, this pressing is just absolutely phenomenal. Like whenever I got this, I was like, "There's no way this is going on the turntable. Like this is just too pretty." It's just so sick. Great pressing. Absolutely one of my favorite splatters. Absolutely. And this was if I can get everything all put back together here, I believe this was pressing about 300. I got the hype sticker on here. Yeah, clear with black smoke and splatter edition, limited to 300 copies and plus 301 copies, one specifically for Grain Sticker, is what it says. Love, Scott Hall.
Interesting.
Is what it says. Not for Nick. It says Nick can't have one. Okay. But dude, I listened to this like for the first time the other day. Whenever we were talking about doing the Splatter episode, like I wanted to listen to this album, dude. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like, for the short amount of material that's on here.
I did the same. I broke out a record. I'll get to that one later. But when I was pulling records for this episode, I was like, I haven't spun this since I got it. Mm-hmm. No, I'll get there when I get there. But yeah, good to know. While doing research for this episode, we listened to our records.
Well, yeah, just that, like going through and rediscovering old stuff that I've kind of neglected.
No, I feel you.
Because I mean, as great as the Octagonal Stairway is, like it doesn't get as much play as Prowler or Phantom Limb or Bookburner. I mean, it just kind of, not that it's forgotten about, but it's very overlooked.
For many years, I only had just that one song on my iPod because it was like a Adult Swim like single series release, and then they finally, I don't know how many years later, they put it out on vinyl with extra stuff on it. Which I don't, for the longest time I was like, I don't own that, and then when I started cleaning out my collection or just like organizing it, I was like, oh wait, I own 2 copies of this. So much like you in the first episode, I'm forgetful of what I own sometimes.
Oh, I forgot I had Irony is a Dead Scene. You forgot you had Octagonal Stairway. It happens. Dude, we're getting old, dude.
Sometimes sometimes I buy records, I spin it once and it goes right back on the shelf. But because it's a band that I care about, I don't care that I have 3 pressings of this one record. I like this band a lot, and it's going to stay on my shelf until something crazy happens. Anyways, moving on. Moving on. Whoa. Mouse is opening up stuff on my screen. Next selection for me, another band I just so happen to be friends with. A great death metal band from they hailed to be from Baltimore, but only one of them was up there. Dying Fetus, Make Them Beg for Death. This was their latest album. Excuse me. This is the custom half and half splatter edition, limited to 350 copies. This wasn't the rarest pressing of what they put out for this album, but I think it was the best looking one for sure. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a good looking record.
I think so too. For a splatter, I don't have too many half and halves that turn out this well, but Dying Fetus is a cool fucking band to me. Like I said, they're homies. This is a cool one. This might be one of the nicer looking records that I own by them. Like I said, when we were going through our list and selecting stuff from this episode, Not all these are like my favorite albums by these bands, but these are definitely like splatters that come off of my that artificial brain right there. I don't know, like that might be my favorite one by them, but again, I love the way that splatter looks. Same with this dying fetus, like it just like right off the top when we decided to do this, I remember this and what it looked like. Oh, it comes with stickers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Pre-order it, get extra shit. You know how Relapse rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool album too. Great, you know. Um, Dying Fetus, awesome band. I just found out some cool stuff about them a couple weeks ago. I'm sure there'll be some big announcements coming soon. But yeah, that's another one of those splatters that I'm just enamored with when I opened it up, and it's definitely one of my cooler looking Dying Fetus vinyl.
For sure. Confession time. I still do not own a copy of that on vinyl.
All right, folks. This is the end of our relationship with Jeff Grindstoffer. We'll be moving on with the new host.
No, wait. No. Hold on. No, I got nothing. Seriously, dude, and it pisses me off that I don't have that on vinyl because I mean it was one of my favorite records from that year, from last year. Dude, this is so good. I mean, Dying Fetus has not done a bad record, but that one is just like I don't know what it is, dude. It's just so good, and it pisses me off that I don't own a copy on vinyl. So maybe if Trey sees this, maybe you need my address, Trey Williams. Yeah. No, seriously, I do need to track down a copy. And what pisses me off is like one of the guys that I grew up with, one of the guys that I was in a band with, and I'm sure I've mentioned a few times over the past 30. What episode is this? 32, 33? 33. Over the past 32 episodes, I'm sure I've talked about Buster at some point. Buster owns fucking Make Them Beg for Death on vinyl, and I don't, and that pisses me off.
Scott, how do you say his last name? He's got, he has the rare pressing of this album of this new one, but I didn't think it looks as good as the one that I got.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, Scott.
I'm gonna go pay Scott Baumgartner a visit.
Okay, Jeff, what you got next, man?
All right, moving on. My next vinyl that I do own a copy of. This is Chapang. This is their latest album. This is S.o.d. Chapang is a grindcore outfit out of. I know I'm going to get this wrong. I'm not even going to attempt it. They are an overseas grind band. I got to see these guys last year. They were doing a miniature tour with our good friends in Bandit. I got to see them perform with Bandit at a little DIY venue in Kansas City, and it was awesome. Awesome, finally get to see Chapang. I've been a fan of these guys for a few years now, and never got the chance to see them. And it wasn't even like they normally have two drummers, and they only had the one drummer on this tour, which was fine. I mean, it was still a great show, but I didn't get the full, the full effect of seeing Chapang for the first time. It was great album, great band, great guys. This Splatter is fucking rad. It's a blue, like translucent with blue and black splatters in there. I know because of my overbearing light right here, it probably doesn't look as blue as it probably should, but it is an actual translucent blue. Excuse me, with the light blue and black splatters. I really like how this turned out.
According to Google, they are a Nepali grindcore band from New York City.
Nepali. Now, there's a couple of them that are from New York, I think. Like, their drummer lives in New York.
But, like, when I've seen them live, and, like, yeah, I remember they've had, like, two drummers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the rest of them are, like, set up on the ground, and, like, they had two singers.
Yeah.
At one point, they had little kids singing and shit. They played early one day at Death Fest one year, and I always remember, like, you know, when unique stuff like that happens, it draws a crowd and draws attention. And I know that they've played a lot over the years in New York and whatnot. So maybe, yeah.
This album, now that I think about it, this album also has a lot of guest drummers. A lot of guest drummers, like Dave Whitty's on this. Dirk Verburen. There's a bunch of different drummers on this album, but I cannot think of. Yeah, hold on. Let's see if I can. Drums by Jake Krieger. Drums by George Wright. Drums by Christian Hill. Track 18, drums by Brian Fajardo. Track 19, drums by Hooney Joe. Track 20, drums by Dave Whitty. 21, Dirk Verburen. Lee Fisher. Tom Nguyen. Yeah, dude. I mean, this album has a lot going on, and plus, it's. I mean, look at that fucking. You know, it's hard to. Let's capture it in frame, but.
It's cool shit. Yeah, I remember seeing that artwork and admiring it. It looks really neat.
Awesome, awesome packaging.
Yeah.
So, hell of a band. Check them out. Check them out. Check out Japan.
Check them out. All right.
All right.
Next band I am going to talk about is a band from Brisbane, Australia. They are called Portal. Ion is the name of this record. I don't know if you could see this layout's really fucking badass. It's all right. Let's see if I can. These came with like posters. I don't know where I have them laid around, but like,
oh, that's cool.
It's kind of like foily and on the back here, I noticed like it's kind of like etched in a little,
like a face
up here.
I kind of see it for a second.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know. It might be just the catalog number. I don't remember what year this album came out, but I got like the two rarest pressings. One of them is a glow-in-the-dark splatter. I'm not going to be able to turn my lights off and show this, but you can kind of see right there. Yeah, this is pretty rare type of splatter. I mean, I have a couple glow-in-the-darks, but this one in particular is pretty unique. You know, Portal is certainly one of those bands I try to collect as much as I can of theirs. I don't have any of the OG pressings of like their first few albums, but since I became a fan, whenever stuff comes out, I'm pretty fast to be able to order them and get what I can. You know, a couple years ago they released a pretty unique box set that was like an Ouija board. And I can't believe I got my hands on that. Like they actually released 2 albums that year, and one of them was that album that comes with the Ouija board. So shout out!
I remember the Ouija board.
Yeah, shout out to Portal. Very unique band. Very very cool band to collect stuff from. That, like I said, that glow in the dark splatter is a very unique type of splatter. That, you know, I don't own too many glow in the darks, but that's a cool one.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah, I just recently got a glow in the dark. I want to say it was the new Full of Hell.
Cool.
Coagulated Bliss was a glow in the dark vinyl, I believe, and I've got like a Fester Lion's Daughter split. It was a glow in the dark pressing.
Killer.
Lion's Daughter. Anyway, yeah, glow in the dark vinyl is awesome.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Up next for me, this is what I consider to be I consider this to be like a Phantomas record, because Phantomas is of course the Mike Patton project. That is all Mike Patton. He orchestrates all the music. He does all of the parts. He puts everything together and just has Buzz Osborne and Trevor Dunn and Dave Lombardo play the parts that he's written, but it's all orchestrated by Mike Patton, which is this next thing I'm going to feature is the Crank soundtrack, Crank 2 soundtrack, High Voltage. Composed, original motion picture soundtrack composed and performed by Mike Patton. A lot of this music is very reminiscent of the stuff that he did with Phantomos. And like I said, I consider it to be a Phantomos record just because it's not all like that, but it's close enough. Besides the fact that it's Mike Patton scoring a soundtrack, I mean, it's incredible. The movie is awesome. The movie has a cameo appearance by Maynard James Keenan.
Nice.
In the movie. It's a fun movie. It's one of those just over the top, just chaotic, batshit crazy movies, but I love it. I love the movie. I love the soundtrack. I own this Splatter, which was like a merge.
Oh wow, that's
Splatter.
incredible.
Yeah,
That's a really cool looking record.
Turned out very, very, very well. They did. I think there's like 6 or 7 different pressings of these, all of which I own on that top shelf right behind me. The top shelf right by the underneath the 9 Inch Nails poster, along with the test press for this album. Everything that everything they've done for this album I own, just because it's just, I mean,
I was going to say, you talked about the test press in the test press episode, correct?
I probably did. Yeah, that sounds like something I would do for sure, because it's I mean it's a huge thing for me to own the test press of this record. I think they only did like 10 of them. 10 test presses. But yeah, this Splatter, whenever we were talking about during Splatter, like this was one of the first ones to pop in my head.
Cool. No, that's a really cool looking one. I'm glad you broke that one out, because that's as far as like this episode, when I like I said, the few that I've shown so far were ones that like instantly came to mind when we started, thinking of this episode. So that's a really cool one, man. I'm glad you got that in your collection.
And it's a double. There's 2 of them, so and I believe they're both the same. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. That's a really cool looking record, man. I'm glad you got that.
Thanks.
Do they have multiple pressings, or is that just that? Yeah, it's just that and then test press.
No, there's like 6 or 7 different pressings. They've got a solid yellow. They've got a half and half.
Is that the coolest looking one?
It is. It is absolutely hands down the coolest pressing for that soundtrack. Yeah, for sure.
Nice, definitely. I think so too. Well, I haven't seen the other ones, but that one definitely looks pretty badass.
Stick around after the show. I'll show you what I got.
If you got time.
We'll see.
All right, moving on. Right. This other. Oh, you got something else to pitch in?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you baby.
All right. Oh, all right. Oh, here we go. This next one is by a band. A couple years ago, they kind of blew up on the scene, and I kind of wanted to see what it was all about. They're called Tumult. They're from Toronto. It's a 4-piece. The drummer does the vocals in this band. This album is Planetary Clairvoyance. It's a pretty cool art. See it or not? It's a little Beg for Life, Planetary Clairvoyance. They're growing inside part 2. Oh man, I'm not gonna read all these damn complicated song titles. These guys are just gonna make me look stupid on the air. Make me look dumber than I already look. Tumult is a really cool band. I know they're kind of putting stuff. They have been putting stuff out again. When this album came out, I think I got a couple pressings. This one in particular, I think, looks fucking rad.
Oh yeah, it does.
Almost a little bit like the Trash Explosion, just less colors, I think.
Yeah,
but
that's like a quarter of the colorway of the Trash Explosion, but it's the same concept.
I think so too. When I pulled this out the other day, that's like instantly what I thought of, but I was like, not the same color palette, but cool stuff, cool looking, very, very.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know what I think I must have flipped my other pressing that I had of this, because I was looking on my shelf. Like I said, there was a time where I had to make room on my shelf, and Blake and I would go hit up our buddy Tony at Celebrated Summers in Baltimore, Maryland. Go check that store out. I think I sold or traded in at least my other copy of this record. So I'm glad I kept this one, because when we did this episode, and I certainly had a cool Splatter pressing to show off. Like I said, it reminded me a little bit of the Trash Explosion. I've only seen it up close in the Travis episode, but I know yours is still sealed behind a frame, actually. So that's keeping it safe there, pal. Good for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is one of the records that Melanie is not really chomping at the bit to sell. Whenever in my untimely demise, which she knows that was worth money. She knows it.
She's got Nick's number.
Yeah. Charge him double.
She's at work right now. She can't hear me go, Melody, Nick wants that.
Yell all you want, buddy. She won't hear you. She'll never see this episode.
Melanie, send me that right now.
Easy killer. All right. Moving on. Talk about my wife.
We're talking positively about her for once. Usually it's in the vein of she finds out how much you spent on these records. So
yeah,
we're doing Melanie a favor this episode.
I had to make sure she wasn't behind me. That's how it usually happens. There's her talking shit and she shows up. Anyway, moving on. Love you, Melanie. Moving on, my next album that I am going to feature, and I am excited about this. I've been wanting to showcase this repress of this phenomenal album that would not. Actually, now that I think about it, this is probably something that's not going to go over very well. Fuck it. We'll do it anyway. Stormtroopers of Death, Speak English or Die.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. All right. Band-Aid. Go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Hopefully this goes over well. This is something that could easily get somebody canceled.
Well, before we go for any further, let's just mention this is like half of Anthrax. So, like,
you
have to have a sort of a sense of humor to understand what these guys are going for there. I don't think they believe half the stuff that they say in this record. But moving on, go for it, Chuck.
This is a very comical album. Like everything is taken with a very tongue-in-cheek approach. They've done songs throughout the years that are like the ballad of
Cobain.
Kurt Cobain. You know, they play like Jimi Hendrix. This one has the ballad of Jimi Hendrix. But they play like a few chords of a song and then say, "You're dead." You know, like I can't even think of any of the other songs that they have done.
They've done the ballad of Jerry Ramone, the ballad of Kurt Cobain, the ballad of a couple years ago. S.o.d. played Maryland Death Fest, or is it S.o.d. S.o.b. And they opened up with "Outshined" by Soundgarden. This is back in 2017, and then they played the first few riffs and they goes, "You're dead." And so it's right after Mr. Cornell passed.
Yeah, it's all a joke. It's all a big comedic thing with these guys. Anyway, now that we're done, we're trying to explain.
Please don't cancel us.
Please don't cancel me or Nick. Nick didn't do anything wrong. It's all me. Or I'll just cut it out. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I'm the fucking one that edits it. This is the camouflage splatter for the theme of the Stormtroopers of Death. Speak whatever language you want and be happy with it.
There you go. That is the name of the album.
That is the name of the album.
That is it. 2024.
Speak whatever nationality you were born with, and go on with your bad self.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome splatter. Awesome splatter. This is a
camouflage.
Yeah. It's supposed to represent a camouflage motif to go along with the album and the concept and everything, and just I was really excited to feature this splatter until it came time. I got on air and I got camera shy. I'm like, oh my god, why am I doing this? Jeff, just stop talking about Stormtroopers of Death and pick another album. But there we are. We'll see how this goes over. Fun band. I've never seen any iteration of this. I mean, I've seen Anthrax throughout the years. This also has a Dan Lauker.
Yep.
From Brutal Truth and
OG bassist of Anthrax.
OG bassist of Anthrax, and just hell of a lineup.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Billy Milano, man, what a vocalist. What a front man.
Correct.
There's a live show of them at the somewhere in New York City in like the '90s. It was a pretty good show. It was awesome. But yeah, cool
Good
record.
album.
Yeah, I enjoy that record. It's pretty cool. It's a very cool moshy stuff to that. It's a very thrashy album. I think
Absolutely.
they made that album between Spreading the Disease and Among the Living, I believe, is when they wrote and recorded that album.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. All righty. Moving on. Next thing that I got here. This is original music from Tales from the Crypt. If any of you do not know what this is, I know there's a lot of youngins out there. Hopefully, everybody who watches our show is old like I am and Jeff and had HBO or whatever back in the day. There was a show on HBO called Tales from the Crypt. It was like each week it was a different like horror story told, hosted by this guy, the Crypt Keeper. The theme song was done by Danny Elfman from every fucking Tim Burton movie possible. He also does like the Simpsons theme and whatever. So this is like the Tales from the Crypt theme. Then looking down here, it's just like every episode had like some sort of orchestra type music, and that's what this is. Enjoy the Ride Records put this out, so there you go. This is a pretty cool looking splatter. I think it's like a Bloodshot.
Oh yeah, that is cool.
Again, it's a pretty cool TV show. I remember as a kid watching it. They played in syndication on Fox after a while, and there was this one episode where there was a guy who hosted like this TV show. It was Morton Downey Jr. was the guy playing this dude, and there was a house that was haunted, and the story behind the house was like there was a woman who lived in the house, and she went crazy and murdered all the people in the house, buried them in the basement. So they broke into this house after all these years because people who walk by the house claim that they hear voices and stuff and coming from the inside. So they went in to investigate, and sure enough, these people were still alive or dead alive in the house, and they just like took over the whole camera crew and everything. And it was pretty crazy episode. There's tons of like ghouls and monsters and shit like that, or just crazy stories. But they made a couple movies. Tales from the Crypt Presents Demon Knight came out when I was like in the 7th grade. I think it was like '94. That was a pretty fucking awesome movie. Really cool, fucking awesome metal soundtrack. But yeah, if anybody was around the '90s, they knew about this show. This was a pretty interesting show, and they like much like Freddy Krueger. I think the Crypt Keeper went from being scary to like funny as shit. The John Kaiser is the name of the gentleman who does his voice, and he's a pretty funny guy. I've never seen him on Conan. I think when I was a kid. So,
yeah, I've seen him a few times here and there too, and I don't know what else he's done aside from the Crypt Keeper. But yeah, that was that's my childhood. Tales from the Crypt. It was like every Friday or Saturday night on HBO, whatever it was. But it was just like that every night. I was glued.
I have every episode on my portable hard drive, so like I can go back and watch a lot of those. Any one of those.
Nice. Nice.
It's because it's not available on Max. It's like one of those shows that HBO had that they didn't put on Max.
Really?
And the Chris Rock show and Dream On. A couple of them.
Look at you.
I knew my HBO, even though we never had it.
Oh yeah, that was a fun little trip down memory lane.
Hell yeah,
it's fun. All right, up next for me is the the next to newest album from Cannibal Corpse. This is Violence Unimagined, and this is the uncensored. This is the alternate artwork. This is not the artwork that you could go to a record store and buy. If you get this from a record store now, I believe I don't know if I have the artwork for the other cover or whatever in here. I don't know. But anyway, this is the uncensored, gory artwork. This is a beer with red splatter pressing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Much better without like I said, the overbearing light that I've got trying to illuminate me. But yeah, that I think it looks pretty good, even with the light.
I think so too. There's a lot of like splatter beads in there, so it looks like I see what they were getting at. Not everything's squished, but it still looks like there's a lot of blood on that record.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Executed very well. And this is a great album. This is the first album to feature Eric Rutan.
Oh, cool.
It's just
shout out to Eric Rutan.
Eric Rutan, definitely. This is such a great album. Phenomenal album, actually.
Yeah, that's another one of those bands that like I remember buying was it Black Before Red or whatever a couple years ago, and somebody's like, it's very cookie cutter death metal. I'm like, dude, what do you expect from Cannibal Corpse? Like they only get better. Like they don't, like I remember the argument when people tell me that Chris Barnes is better than, I'm like, dude, they're two totally different vocals. Like, sure, they had like two great hits, two really huge hits when Chris Barnes was in the band, or two. I shouldn't say that. Like, several good albums when he was in the band, but like, man, they made so many better albums with Corpse Grinder.
Corpse Grinder, absolutely.
Scourge of Iron. That's like a later one, but that's such a good fucking song, man. Like,
yeah.
And just on top of being like the stage guy that he is, like he's a nice person in real life, so he gets a million cool points for that too. So shout out to Corpse Grinder, Maryland native, Baltimore. Fuck the Denver Broncos. he's gonna strangle me. Go
one of my absolute favorite Cannibal Corpse songs is "Surround, Kill, Devour." Like it is the epitome of a Cannibal Corpse song. Is just so good, so fucking good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Right. This next one that I got earlier on, I when I was going through my stuff, I pulled this one out and spun it because why not? I paid money for this record. It is Blood Incantation: The Hidden History of the Human Race, and it is a Nessie pressing. So you see there's the little Obi strip and whatnot. Oh man, this band and their artwork is just fucking unreal. This isn't a numbered vinyl. I can say that, I don't know if you can see, it's a little embossed up there. And,
yeah.
Man, this is an incredible fucking record, and this Splatter again, Nessie knocking it out of the fucking park here with these things. And I put this on the turntable earlier, just listened to it. I was like, man, this sounds a lot better than the fucking who did the other ones. It wasn't Profound, was it? I can't remember.
I have no idea.
You're absolutely right when you make the claim that these sound better than the Metal Blade ones that you had. They did a damn good job on these pressings. This is an awesome looking Splatter, I think. Awesome fucking band. I know they put out a couple albums. I haven't gotten any. They did like a Doom EP or something recently, and maybe like I can't remember. I didn't pre-order any of that newer stuff. Unfortunately, I've been a little too occupied. But I think no, they did not play Death Fest this past year. But Spectral Voice did.
I don't know. I didn't go to Death Fest this year.
Their side band, the other dudes. So, but yeah, Blood Incantation, Hidden History of the Human Race, pretty cool album. I don't know how much that record's worth. I haven't looked it up, but
I've seen them a couple of times, but I never really got into them. I haven't really I know I don't own any of their records, but yeah, they're a great band.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And they just put out a new, or they just pre-orders for a new one, right?
I was trying to say, yeah, I think there is something, but I haven't heard anything of it. I didn't get. They put out like a live album. No, it wasn't a live album. It was like a long like Doom EP, like a long 30-minute song or something. And I didn't get that.
Mhm.
So I missed out on the last couple, as I said earlier. But
That's how it goes.
anywho,
All right. Up next for me is a band that I don't talk about enough on this show. This is the Melvins. This is The Bride Screamed Murder, which is one of my favorite eras of the Melvins. It's during their lineup whenever they had Dale and Cody and Jared from Big Business as part of the lineup. Whenever Cody Willis was a drummer alongside Dale Crover. It was just, I love the way that they sound with two drummers. Almost any band, whenever they have two drummers, it just sounds awesome. It's just very full, very dynamic, it's just heavy. It's just such a good sound, for bands that have two drummers. I think anyway. But yeah, this is one of my favorite albums from the Melvins during their big Melvins lineup. This is a white with red splatter, white vinyl with red, orange, and yellow splatter.
As you say, I see a little more than just one color. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Red, orange, and yellow. But yeah. And I don't know. I guess they did 1,000 of these. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing the research on this one now because I didn't know the exact specifics of what the limit, what the pressings for the Bride Scream Murder was. But yeah. Not my favorite Splatter, but absolutely an album that I absolutely wanted to feature on the show. Huge Melvins fan over the years, and Bride Scream Murder is nothing to shake a stick at. Great album. You like the Melvins, right, Nick?
Never heard of them.
I'm never going to hear you.
Have you talked about them on this show before?
Never.
I don't pay close attention like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their Melvins are great. I like I said, I have Houdini on vinyl just because I love how his drums sound on that record. I've always as a kid just admired like that full drum sound, like kind of like on in utero.
Right.
So I was just curious how well it would sound on vinyl. I own like a third man pressing, so it's probably been like 25th pressed after that, but like curious how like the OG sounds. I don't know. Didn't sound too good, the one that I have, but
they did.
If I'd have known that one that you were going to sell years ago, I'd have bought that off of you in a heartbeat.
Did I sell one of mine?
Didn't you have like a screen printed cover or something that you wanted? Oh, never mind. That was the one with the kiss faces.
Yeah, that was.
I'm thinking of something else. You still have that Houdini. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 4 or 5 copies of Houdini on vinyl. But yeah, whenever the third man, they did a yellow pressing, and which was like really limited, and then a black pressing, and I think the yellow pressing sounds decent compared to the black. I don't know. I wasn't real thrilled with either one of those, but I've got a couple other copies that sound really great.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And I like that song, The Bit. Mastodon covered that a couple times. I saw them do it on Halloween a couple years ago. It was cool.
Oh wow, I've never seen Mastodon before, but that's awesome. I mean, I knew they covered it, but I've never.
Somebody made a comment. This is great because Melvins has 2 drummers, and Mastodon's drummer is basically 2 drummers. I just sat there nodding my head while reading that comment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. Next thing I'm going to talk about a newer album, the latest album by the band Baroness, Stone. John Dyer Baisley, what a fucking artist this guy is. I've never seen anything terrible done by this guy. He's really just very creative, really, really cool stuff that he does. I don't think that he did this one on the back. It doesn't look like his work. But I don't know why I'm showing off the gatefold and all that, because this episode is about vinyl. Oh, look, this is autographed by everybody in the band too.
Ooh.
Another. Oh man, this.
Oh wow.
Look at the gold specks here, and like this around the center, kind of close to
Oh
the center.
dude.
If you can see those well enough or not.
That's almost like a merge in there too, isn't it?
Kind of looks like it a little, yeah. But
Holy
this
shit, that's rad.
this side is the side you want to look at. This is a really cool pressing. You know, I remember waking up and seeing that, oh shit, new Mastodon, and I pre-ordered this, and I have another copy on my shelf somewhere. I don't think I missed out on the test presses because you know I
Oh,
suck.
those go quick. Yeah. Yeah.
I got it for the golden gray, but yeah, I this this was a cool looking one. I'm a huge fan of this band. I'm a huge, you know, John has been very cool to me over the years. I met our good friend Loopy because of Baroness. Just I have nothing but great things to say about this band. Me and my friend Jessica went and saw them a couple months ago. My friend Ian passed away back in last November, and I got him into Baroness. And we were going to take his sister to go see them because she wanted to go see some of the bands that he likes a lot. And I, you know, it's hard for me to take his sisters to like the Black Dahlia Murder or some band that just has like, you know, crazy screaming vocals. And I thought Baroness might be pretty tame for her to. She'd probably enjoy that or Ghost, but
Right.
I'm not paying like $1,000 to see Ghost. And I haven't really enjoyed anything they've done since their third album. It doesn't matter, not important. Moving on.
I need to listen to that new Baroness. I have not listened to the new Baroness yet, and I will rectify that as soon as it's your turn on screen. I'm going to put it up on Spotify and play it first thing in the morning on the way to work.
Nice. Well, guess whose turn it is?
Oh, mine. Oh, is it my turn already again? My turn. Last album, and I am excited. This one is actually one of my favorite splatters. God forbid, Gone Forever. This is one of my, if it's not in my top Desert Island albums, it fucking should be because it's just so good. God forbid, I am not a huge fan of everything else that they've done. The stuff before this was good. The stuff after this was not so good. But this album is fucking just beginning to end phenomenal. Look at it again. If you're unfamiliar with God Forbid, check out God Forbid. Such a good album. This is a pressing that is called a Bird Shit Splatter. And it absolutely looks like bird shit splatter. I mean, it fucking.
That's awesome.
I love this pressing, and there's nothing real like no gold flakes or no sparkly stuff or anything like that, but it looks like bird shit. It fits the name, and it's a clear with a black and brown and yellow and white, and it's a great pressing. They repressed this a couple of years ago. Like, it wasn't that long ago whenever they repressed it. It might have been the 20th anniversary. No, because that would have been this year if it was the 20th anniversary.
No, that's the first pressing of that, I believe.
No, they did a pressing back whenever it was released, but it didn't come in a cover. Like, it came with like a cutout of the bird. It was like a die cut thing that was just of the bird, but it was just like it just sat in it. Like, it wasn't like the bird was like down here.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like a thing that like sat in. It wasn't like a full wraparound standard jacket like most vinyl comes in. And those are hard to find. Those are really hard to find.
I was not a fan of that album. I was not good friends. I was friends with those guys, with the twins, with the brothers, not twins. Doc and Dallas, they were really cool to me, and Ray and Jose. We used to go to these shows all the time in Auto Bar and at Jack's, and those guys would always put us on the guest list. They were just really cool. But I remember by the time that album came out, just wasn't a big fan of it. I like Determination a lot. I have that on vinyl. I'm very happy to finally have that one. But
I got that.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. But I've seen Doc over the last. I saw him years ago at a Mayhem Fest. I think now he's in this band called Bad Wolves, and he's doing huge things. So good for him. I'm very happy for that guy. You know, he's a good guitarist, great stage presence. So he deserves all that success. But yeah, I remember Gone Forever coming out and just wasn't feeling it. But you know, couldn't tell those guys. They were always putting me on the guest list. It was very nice of them.
Right. Right.
I saw like Soulfly and Meshuggah, quite a few bands for free because of them. So
Nice.
you know.
Nice.
All right, last one. This is a band that again, I used to be a huge fan of this band. When this one came out, this is when I kind of started to fall off. There's two versions of this. You know, it's Between the Buried and Me, Automata 1, and there's also an Automata 2. Um, I remember getting this, and just it's an EP. There's only 6 songs, and Sumerian Records put it out. Shout out Ash Abelson, old homie from around the way. This is just, man, this Splatter looks fucking incredible. Always been a fan of it.
Oh, it is rad.
I think they've done like a couple like where they pressed both these Automata 1 and Automata 2 as like a double LP. Um, but you know, I have like the first pressing of both of them. It just wasn't that big a fan of it. And I remember I think after this it might have been like Colors 2, but you know, I like Between the Buried and Me a lot. I thought, you know, they were one of those bands, especially during the 2000s, that I was like a big fan of. I went and saw them quite a few, especially after the first time I saw them when Silent Circus came out. You know, I started following when then Alaska came out. And I was like, holy shit, these guys really know how to write fucking good music. And you know, I'm not saying that they suck. They don't. They're still great musicians and a great band. Just at some point wasn't my thing much anymore, but you know, still go out and support them. I remember I've seen them a couple times still after these 2 EPs came out. I saw them once with when they did Colors, and they repressed Colors on vinyl, and I went to that tour and bought it, and it was not even on colored vinyl. But still happy to finally have that on vinyl. Yeah, the guys like they don't press vinyl 210 gram on color vinyl. I was like, yes, they do. I was like, I don't know who told you that, but you know, shout out to Between the Buried and Me. They're a cool band. The Great Misdirect is a fun record. I've always liked that one.
Do Colors too? Like shout out Between the Buried and Me. Blake Richardson has hooked me up a lot over the years. I've done a lot of work for him for Sick Drummer. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them in a while. But Colors 2, I love it.
I remember a couple years ago, I drove down to Raleigh, North Carolina to see my boy Nathan, and we were going to go to a hockey game out there. But I was like, well, I'm driving out of Raleigh. Let me listen to this album. And I finally put it on. I remember just, it's a very Between the Buried and Me album.
It is. It is. I dig it. I thought it was kind of bold, you know, for them to call it Colors 2, because Colors
exactly. I thought so too. Yeah, it's a masterpiece, the first one. And I felt like the second one had nothing to do with the first one, but it was still a pretty interesting record.
It's good. It is good. It's not Colors, but I don't know.
Nope.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
It's Colors 2.
Jeff, do you have any new records you want to talk about this week?
3. I have 3 records. I finally have. I haven't got to contribute much to the past couple of episodes, but I'm going to do some right now.
Okay.
Do some right now. So the first one I am going to feature is the new album from Sumac, The Healer, which I believe I featured a couple weeks back. Like whenever I got my first copy a couple weeks back, I went and saw them in Lawrence, Kansas not too long ago. And while I was at the show, I don't buy shirts anymore. I try not to buy a whole lot of band shirts because my wife yells at me because I have too much shit laying around. So I try to buy records to support the bands with whatever possible, if at all. And so I bought a copy. I asked Aaron whenever I bought this. I said, "Is this a standard black?" And he said, "No, it's a limited color edition." And I said, "Ooh, I don't own any color editions of the new Sumac, so let me grab one of those." And I have not opened this. I've been saving it just for this episode because I want to share this very special moment with Nick, because he won't shut the fuck up about I don't ever open records. So I'm going to open this record just for Nick and for me because I want to know what color it is. Like I put in I went to Discogs and just like added. I don't even remember what color variant I added to my collection just so I could have it in there. But I tried to save the shrink wrap. Go ahead and rip that off. And this jacket, dude, like this setup that they do for a lot of their records is so badass. They have like flip cover to go over another slip cover that has,
something just fell out.
A digital download.
Cool.
Yep, digital download. Hurry up. That's it. That's all you get. If you got it, good. If not, tough shit. But yeah, let's see what color I wound up getting for the new Sumac. It is a white, solid white double LP for all 4 songs of the new Sumac record. That's awesome. All right, so now I guess I can update my Discogs to have the actual. I think I put in that it was a clear. I think I was just wishful thinking that I would get a clear copy. Up next are some very good friends of mine from St. Louis, Missouri. This band is Summoning the Lich. This is Under the Reviled Throne. This is the newest. This is the sophomore album from Summoning the Lich, released by Prosthetic Records just like a month ago. It hasn't been out very long. And again, I'm going to open this on the episode as well. I've gone without a turntable for the last couple of weeks because my wife and I have been redecorating the house, and I had to unplug everything and wanted to get new wires, and I ran new speaker wires through the house so I could have brand new speaker wires run to the speakers. And now that I have everything set up, I want to listen to this fucking thing on vinyl. So, and it is a Splatter. Look at this fucking thing.
Yeah, that looks incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. That's reminds me a lot of that Artificial Brain I was showing off. Like the just like it's like a shade of yellow or green right there with the splatter on it. It looks incredible, dude.
Right. Yeah.
Very nice.
The album is amazing. I've listened to the album several times on Spotify. Like I said, these guys are friends of mine. I've done a lot of video work for these guys. They are the homies. Shout out to Summoning the Lich. Phenomenal job on the second album, guys. Hopefully I can see you guys again one of these days and not film you because I guess I don't film bands anymore. But yeah, huge fan of Summoning the Lich. And finally, my third album, this band was a surprise for me. I did not go. I saw these guys last week or week before in Kansas City. I saw them. It was their release. It was their album release show for this album. A good friend of mine, Josh Huddleston, who is a good friend of ours. He's an even better friend with Nick. He even told me that. He said he likes Nick more than he likes me. But he his band Yatsu opened up for these guys in Kansas City, and I initially went to go hang out with Josh, even though I'm only his second favorite Vinyl Bang co-host. But while I was at the show, he was so enthusiastic about telling me about how much he liked this band, Missouri Executive Order 44, who was the reason why the show was even taking place to begin with. So I am going to talk about this fucking band because they are awesome. They are so fucking badass. I was very, very, very surprised by these guys. I saw them open for Bandit at the same venue last year, and I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention or if Melanie was, being Melanie and like, I'm Melanie, look at me. And I didn't really pay attention to Missouri Executive Order. But after their set, holy shit, you bet I grabbed a vinyl. I grabbed a copy on vinyl quicker than shit. This is released by, I believe in part by the Ghost is Clear Records, who is run by a buddy of mine, Bobby from Kansas City, a very good friend of mine over the last couple of years. And the killer,
they put out the Yatsu album.
Yeah. That's where we got the Yatsu album from. But the killer thing about this, okay, this is the side with the audio, and this is the screen printed side.
Oh, that's awesome! That looks incredible. Does it have you spun it yet?
No.
Okay.
haven't put
obviously
on
you
this.
can't spend that.
Yeah, you cannot spend this side. This is screen printed, but the spirographs, like, dude, I was like, oh my god, that's awesome.
You should put it on the turntable and hold the needle above it and just film and see what it looks like. So it doesn't, the needle doesn't touch it, like hold it up.
Right, yeah, get it to where it'll turn. I don't know if it does anything, or I'm sure it does.
It looks like it has to, man. You can't make that design and not
have it do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My turntable has the ability that you can move the needle above it and lower it and raise it manually.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can do that too.
Yeah, but try that. See what happens.
Maybe I'll put a black light on it and see if it says, "Josh likes you better, Jeff." But yeah. Anyway, trying to figure out which one of us is the better friend with Josh Edelson. Missouri Executive Order 44. Holy shit! This band, I cannot say enough good stuff about these guys. And girl, sorry. I cannot say enough good things about this band. They are awesome, and they are local to me, so I can see them a lot if I wanted to, because now that I'm paying attention to where they play, I will see them again. Fun surprise.
Hell yeah.
So
awesome. That's a cool looking record. Cool, interesting, mouthful name of a band. And yeah, maybe I'll check that out. If it sounds cool, I'll pick up a copy myself. That happens quite a bit on this show when you talk about a record and I'm like, oh, I don't own that, and I'll go buy it. All right, let me rifle through these because I got quite a few here. First, I'll start with something that I just got in the mail yesterday. The band Spectral Wound, the black metal band from Montreal, Canada. Songs of Blood and Muir. This is their new album on Profound Lore, I believe. Yes, Profound Lore put this out. This band fucking rules. I met the singer before they played at Death Fest this past year. He was kind enough to pose for a picture. We talked for a little while. This is red vinyl. I think I saw somebody selling their copy for $80 already on Discogs. What a fool. Hold on to your vinyl, people. Don't just flip them. Yeah, cool fucking band. I like I said, they played Hell in the Harbor, and your boy got sick that day and had to miss out on the greatness. Luckily, I watched them sound check at Death Fest, and then I just walked over to the singer, and he was just, like I said, over the top nice. Can't expect that too often from black metal bands, but I guess I lucked out there. Next thing I got here, a band that I discovered, I think when I was a freshman in high school. Vinyl Me Please re-released the self-titled Sublime album. Comes with their little strip here. I think the album kind of has like this, like it's all embossed and shit. It comes with a ton of crap inside. The records are like Sunfire, like that. I was spinning them earlier because I have an issue with a recent Vinyl Me Please record that I got that I'll talk about in a minute here, but this is good. On the song April 29th, 1992, it skipped a couple times. That kind of sucked. It's a really good song on this album. But everything else on this album sounds really cool. Pretty stoked to have this album. It was one of those ones from high school that, like, no matter how you slice it and dice it, it was a classic album to me. Somehow I managed to get my hands on 2 Japanese pressings of Motley Crue albums. Shout at the Devil. You see the Obi strip right there. Records right there. And I also got Theater of Pain. This is their first, I think, hair metal album to feature a ballad on it, Home Sweet Home. Motley Crue, this was when I was a young kid. This band fucking was like a really, really big deal to me. Anybody who knew me in elementary school will back me up on that, unfortunately. A couple more records that I got in the mail recently. The second Black Dahlia Murder album, Miasma. Man, I remember this coming out and seeing them at the Auto Bar, and they fucking crushed. Oh my God, this is in one of those weird ones. Half red, half green. Kind of has like a little black strip in the middle there. I don't know if all of them have that or not. I should look into that. That could be a rare pressing plant error, but good to know. I finally owned this record. I like this one a lot. The follow-up, their third album, Nocturnal, features What a Horrible Night to Have a Curse, and Everything went black. That music video is really funny. It's kind of like that movie Creep Show. This band just awesome dudes. Great sense of humor. Rest in peace, Trevor. Clear with green and red splatter to go
Oh,
in
nice.
with our splatter episode. Yeah,
It's almost like a Christmas present.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because both of these records have like a red and green theme to it. So I wonder if these were released around Christmas time at some point. But those are two really good Black Dahlia Murder albums. I'm not a huge Black Dahlia fan. I've hung with those guys quite a few times over the years. But those two albums I got, I figured I'd like to own on record. Next, an album that I was a huge fan of when I was a kid. Finally happy to own this on record. Machine Head's Burn My Eyes, their very first album. Classic fucking album. So many good riffs on it. Look at that. Woo. I think it's like translucent gold. I don't know what you want to call it, but this is such a good fucking record. I don't know how people feel about Rob Flynn. I think some people were like, when they put out that new metal album, I think a lot of people hated on them. I really like that album. Well, I liked it. I don't give a fuck. I liked it a lot. The Burning Red. Machine Head's a cool band. Met a couple of these dudes a few times over the years. Nice people, but great, cool live band. And this album in general, really cool stuff here. Yeah. Another thing I got, Interscope Records. They do like those vinyl of the month clubs, and I got the Slim Shady LP. And check.
Sick.
Oh, look at that! It's 3 records. This one's numbered.
That's a 1653.
There it is. They're 3 different colors. There's blue, green, and I think red, maybe. I need to get better sleeves for these. I hate when they put them in just straight paper.
Static's a killer, man.
Yeah. Oh man. So it's the whole album plus, and then there's the other side. It's got like some acapella versions of songs. Songs from soundtracks that he was on, some instrumentals. Notable, my favorite song on this album is a song called My Fault. It's a song about him taking a girl to a party and giving her mushrooms, and she ate the entire bag and had a really bad trip. I remember the first time hearing that song just being very like weirded out, thinking like, oh my God, is this a real story? Because he tells a lot of like true shit about his time with people over the years, and like that just it bugged me out a little. But like, man, Eminem, he's a great storyteller, and this album, his debut. I mean, I don't know if it was his debut album or not, but that's a cool fucking record to me. All right, last one I'm going to talk about. This is an album that I've been wanting to have in my collection for many, many years. A couple months ago, I saw that Vinyl Me Please was putting it out on colored vinyl, and I snatched it up so quickly. I'm going to tell a very sad, unfortunate story in a second here, but it's DMX's "It's Dark and Hell Is Hot." This is his debut album. Came out in 1998. He put out 2 albums this year. This is just I cannot tell you, every time I walk into a record store and I go to the hip hop section, I'm always looking for this. I got it finally, happy to get it. As soon as I got it in, I took it out, put it on the turntable. Look at that.
That's a good looking record, dude.
It is a nice looking album. Unfortunately, when I spun it, each side it'll start with like several seconds into the track, so like it's missing stuff, and it's very unfortunate. I remember a couple years ago, Vinyl Me Please, they put out all the Mars Volta albums, and people were complaining that like the first 10 seconds on each side had like static. And at first, all I thought was like, well, that's how like Mars Volta songs are, right? They have like that like staticky like effect, but no, every record had some. That's quality control. Nobody checked these test presses. That pissed me off. It did piss me off because I've been wanting this album for a long time, and it's kind of ruined that I don't have like the full on like, So it is what it is. Shout out to DMX. Rest in peace, DMX. Me and my friend Brandon saw him back in 2018 in Silver Spring, Maryland. He was fucking amazing. Again, I'm happy to have that on vinyl. It sucks that it's kind of like badly pressed, but
yeah,
it is
that's
what
shitty,
it is.
man. That's shitty.
Yep. Well, that is it.
I was gonna say, you buy a new record cabinet and you buy all kinds of new records. You got all this room for new records, and you show off by buying 30 new records.
Pretty much. Well, some of these, like I said, some of these are pre-orders that like showed up, and I'm like, oh yeah, and I still have a couple more, and then oh man, there's a purchase that I made while I was on vacation, and I cannot wait to show this one off when it comes in, because this is an album by a band that I know you're a big fan of, and I'm just could not believe I got my hands on this. So when we get there, we'll get there.
Cool.
But thank you everybody for watching again. Episode 33 in the books here. 33. There you go. Do
33.
the hard way. Jeff, you got anything to add for this episode?
I got nothing. Let me think of something clever. Oh, the weed of fruit bears. The weed of crime bears bitter fruit, you old hag.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.